Ladies and gents, welcome back. Let's talk about the coalition government that we have here in Canada. Now, they don't want to call it a coalition government because it's an unpopular idea. The idea being that the government was given a minority by the voting public, and for them to take a majority would be largely against the idea of a democratic society in which we live in. Well, a lot of things about a democratic society have been thrown to the wayside. But let's have a look at what Justin Trudeau historically had to say about this. This is posted by Vesper D on Twitter. Go check him out. Give a follow. I'll leave a link in the description down below. But this is Trudeau's historical view on what a coalition ought or ought not to be in Canada.
If Stephen Harper is elected to a minority government, would you at least be open to the idea of forming a coalition with Tom O'Kerr? That doesn't really hit on the issue of a possible coalition.
So I think put there was him fast forwarding through the BS answer that was a non-answer. So it just cuts straight to the chase here.
If you were elected to a minority government, how would you stay in power? You'd have to certainly make nice with Mr. Mulcair at that point.
What I said during that interview, what I've said for the past 3 years is that I am unequivocally opposed to any sort of coalition. I trust Canadians' capacity to determine who will sit in their parliament and let parliamentarians serve them in the best way that they can. Today, I'm announcing that the Liberal Party has reached an agreement with the New Democratic Party to deliver results for Canadians now. And what Canadians don't want is politicians organizing backroom deals around who actually gets to wield power. I trust Canadians. Today, I'm announcing that the Liberal Party has reached an agreement with the New Democratic Party to deliver results for Canadians.
So he trusts Canadians to make the decisions that would be good for Canadians. Now, this is largely on the part of Jagmeet Singh. Now, I've put this out there many times that there are two types of NDP voters. There's disaffected liberals, and then there's people who actually believe in the NDP platform. What the leader of the New Democrats have done is given away all of that to all of them, people who didn't want the liberals and who wanted people who wanted the NDP platform. Jagmeet Singh has abandoned these ideas, and he's given it directly to the liberals with this coalition that's not really a coalition. Now, on that tweet, I did mention at the very top, I put this out there saying, but it's not a coalition, and it's an unofficial agreement to unite under one leadership and disregard the results of a democratic election. Now, AVE, good friend of the channel, decided to send me a video talking about Mr. Jagmeet Singh and his point of view on the whole situation. So I'm just going to play that here.
Hey, Clyde. Set to stinking here in reference to particularly nothing. We're just giving the green baby some hot, acrid CO2 in breath form. Look at that tobacco plant. The thing's a beauty. Set to stinking about this fella. Look at the glow of the blurple lights. Jagmeet Singh. He's a bit of a goof. Being an inveterate outsider myself, you got a feel for the fellow getting laughed out of the House of Commons for when I am El Presidente. It might just happen. He is hypocritical enough, and not to cast aspersions to his aspirations of being Klaus's COVID Schwab. He does strike me as a bit of a hypocrite, as a Sikh, a religious Sikh man, no doubt wearing a kirpan, a ceremonial dagger, which is essentially a symbol to protect the weak from the powers of the establishment. That is no step on snake, a Gadsden flag, essentially. But it's a ceremonial dagger, and he sides with Justin Trudeau's Liberals in that citizens ought not have pew-pews. Too late for me, I'm afraid. I lost all mine in a boating accident. I don't blame the kid. He just desperately wants to fit in as a graduate of that liberal establishment bastion, Western University of Ontario. He just wants to fit in. We can see former NDP, essentially the NDP, are controlled opposition for the Liberal Party of Canada. And we see that in Usanj Dhaliwal or another fella, Ujjal, something. He was the Prime Minister, the Premier of British Columbia, jumped ship for the Liberals, saying, hey, NDP, Liberals, same. They're essentially the same party. And if you look, you can look at this on Wikipedia. You look at all the people, politicians, what have jumped from the NDP to wet their beaks over at the Liberal trough. It's a huge list. The thinking is essentially the same. The NDP, now I am apolitical. I think the system is broken. It's very corrupt, as we plainly see. Now, none of these guys, Jagmeet included, are paying the fiddler. So they don't get to choose the tune. That goes for Trudeau. That goes for Klaus Schwab. These guys, they're all Muppets. They're the guys to draw the ire of the public. They're on up the ladder, on up the pay scale is the people you really got to worry about. And all you got to ask yourself really is, cui bono? But we'll get into that in another one. That's a very tranchant question. Who benefits ultimately? So I assert that the NDP in its present form is political controlled opposition for the Liberal Party. And we see this any time that the Liberal Party comes into trouble, they bring on board the Greens and the Social Democrats. Now, the Social Democrat idea, been around for a long time, started out with the Fabians in Britain. Now, Fabius, of course, was a general who managed to dissuade or slow down Hannibal just by slowing him down, essentially. They took on his name in order to sneak in societal changes, but some of that has been morphed into something quite a bit more sinister and grotesque. If we look at the original logo of the Fabians, we see it is a wolf in sheep's clothing. So the Labour Party in the UK and the Labour Party in Australia and the Labour Party in New Zealand, as well as the NDP, all have roots in the Fabian Society. So we can see there is an agenda there. The reason he seems like such a lying sack of shit is because he is. He wants to join the Liberal Party. We will see in the coming years, he does exactly that.
And there you have it. That's AVE's take on this idea of Jagmeet Singh and the NDP and where they stand at this point. Again, what we're going to get, though, from the media is, well, just imagery of him on TikTok and them talking about, well, what? Jagmeet Singh will deactivate his TikTok account in response to security privacy concerns. Now, you may have learned recently, in recent time, TikTok has been banned from all government devices. If you work for the government and you have a government-issued device, you're to remove TikTok, and they're encouraging people remove their accounts if they're political leaders as such here. But this is just to show how little engagement the news media has in what's actually going on when it comes to these political parties here in Canada. They want to talk about TikTok. They don't want to talk about what's actually the news, what's actually happening politically in our country. And I think AVE put it pretty well in that, saying that they're wolves in sheep's clothing. It's if you thought you were voting for the NDP thinking you were going to get something different, well, we've all been sorely mistaken in that one. Anyone that thought that, and you're going to be totally disappointed. But anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this whole situation with the media obviously not doing their due diligence and looking into these things. And, well, we just have a giant corrupt system in which they can play all they like, except on TikTok anymore. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.